I want to say welcome to everyone to the Bloom live webinar and demo. I'm Kevin McFadden. I'm the Director of Business Development for Bloom. I'll kind of be your moderator for the day. Joining me is Bloom President and Co-founder Patrick Stroud.
Hey, everyone.
And Business Development Associate Eden Blanchard.
Hi.
So today we're going to give you all a preview of the Bloom experience, tell you a bit about how we're different from all the other players in the winery e-commerce space. You'll learn about how we extend the power of Shopify and why so many wineries, big and small, are interested in moving there. Just a bit on my background. I was the operations manager for a small winery here in Woodinville, Washington. We were early adopters of Bloom. I ended up joining Bloom because I really saw the power of the platform and the value it brings to creating great user and customer experiences. We've all got different experiences and backgrounds here at Bloom. I'll let Patrick and Eden share a little bit of their stories with you. As far as agenda goes, Patrick is going to start us off with an overview of Bloom, both as a company and about the services and solutions that we offer. Next, Eden will dive into a live demo of the Bloom Shopify app and also the point of sale POS system that we offer. That should take us to about 11 o'clock, and then we'll work on addressing questions from all of you that you've generated. A little bit about the Q&A format. So you'll find in your Zoom window that you can open a Q&A pane in your screen. And at any time during the presentations today, you can add questions there. Feel free to scroll through the other questions being asked to see if maybe somebody's already asked the same question as you. And you can also upvote or thumbs up those questions that you see if it's also something you're interested in. That'll give us an idea of questions that are really popular and lots of people want to get answers to. So without any further ado, I'm going to go ahead and pass it off to Patrick to get us started.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today. Like Kevin said, I'm Patrick. I'm the president and co-founder of Bloom. I run the creative services team as well as kind of head up all of the design and product development for Bloom. Our tagline here, it's not software, it's Bloom. That's something I wanted to kind of kick things off with as I go through an overview of really how we're different from everyone else in this space. We've been in this business for a long time, and we offer a very broad range of services. We don't just have the software piece of it, which you'll see today when Eden does our demonstration. But I wanted to really kick things off to make sure that everyone on this webinar understands that Bloom provides a much broader range of services beyond just the software piece. So we've been in business now for well over 20 years, designing and developing customer experiences for a broad range of customers. About 12 years ago, we started in the wine space working with the Washington State Wine Commission here in Washington State, where we designed and developed all of the customer-facing pieces of that system. So that was their website, all of the profile management, even features like wineries being able to go in and do their tax assessments for the grapes that they purchased and crushed. So we've been in the wine space for quite a long time, designing and developing software for customers. We're also the only Shopify Plus agency who is working in the alcohol space. Now, you might know that our e-commerce platform is built on Shopify, and Shopify Plus is the version of the software that's designed for larger businesses. And they have dedicated agencies to work with those larger businesses, and Shopify has selected us to be the one to work in the alcohol space. So that's really great for us to have that level of exposure. The other thing is that we consider ourselves really a one-stop shop for wineries or anyone in the alcohol business who needs creative services, marketing services, or the e-commerce kind of website front-end solutions. We do offer all of those different pieces, and I'll break this down here in a moment. You'll see how it's put together. But that's one of the things that makes us quite a bit different than everyone else in this space. when we look at Shopify, one of the reasons why we really wanted to use them as our platform for the e-commerce and website side of things is because they are considered the world's best e-commerce platform for companies who want to quickly stand up websites and shops and get online and start selling quickly. They're growing incredibly fast. They now have over 10,000 employees working worldwide to help us build better experiences and solutions for our customers. The other thing about Shopify is it's built for developers. So that might sound a little bit weird because we think of Shopify as more of a merchant platform, where if you want to start up a store, you would go to Shopify and get your store set up. But really, in reality, behind the scenes, their strategy is to make the platform very developer friendly. That means all of their APIs are open to us, which we can expose to our customers. And it allows us and others to build on top of the platform to extend it to be specific for the alcohol industry. And of course, the other thing about Shopify is they are continuously innovating, rolling out features that are new that really a lot of times no one else has even thought of before or even has the resources to attempt to do. So the level of integrations that we can do on the Shopify platform just far exceeds anything else that can be done anywhere else. And because they're such a large company, again, worldwide, a lot of people consider Shopify to be a future-proof solution, meaning they're always going to be developing and always going to be really ahead of the curve when it comes to new features and new experiences for merchants and for customers. So that brings us to this statement that we are the only creative services firm that provides advanced e-commerce solutions for businesses who are doing sales on the Shopify platform. And that puts us in a pretty unique position where if you're wanting to use Shopify and interested in using Shopify, we are considered the kind of the top tier, the number one folks that you want to go to if you're selling alcohol in this space. So if we want to look at the services that we provide, we really break it up into three categories. We have sales channels that we provide, the ability for you to sell your products on different channels. We provide services for data and integration of that data into other platforms. And then we also have consulting services. If we were to break that down even more, the primary sales channels that we have are your e-commerce storefront. That's where people will go to your website and purchase online. Point of sale, which are in-person sales in a tasting room or gift shop. And then we also have memberships and subscriptions where folks can sign up for club tiers or subscribe to products where they can be sent those orders in a kind of a recurring basis. On the data and integration side, there's really four primary areas that we work within. We have our own reporting system. Shopify also has its own. And then we also integrate with other reporting platforms, which kind of moves into the CRM, ERP block we have here, where if you wanted to pump your data into a CRM platform or an ERP platform, that's something that can definitely be done. I think last time I checked, we have 6 to 8 different large platforms that we can connect into. When it comes to content, we help you migrate your content from your existing platform over into Shopify. So whether that's your products, your blog, your club members, anything like that, all of that content can be moved over. And that kind of takes us to migration as well. So when we look at migrating all of that customer data, card data, sensitive information, we have specialties and expertise in migrating that from not only from, if it happens to be in spreadsheets, which it probably shouldn't be if it's sensitive, but we can connect up to other platforms like Commerce 7 or Wine Direct. Anyone with an API we can connect into and bring that data down. And then our consulting services, we offer full bespoke website design and development. So if you needed something very specific, we have a full design team that can do that for you. Of course, Shopify also has themes that can be customized. So if we wanted to start with a theme and customize that, that's something we have deep expertise in. We also offer branding and marketing services. So if you're rolling out a new wine label or wanted to do a brand audit or help with your social or SEO, those are services that we provide. And then of course, support. Our support is free of charge. If you sign up for our platform, we are kind of a support first company. So we have dedicated people manning our support all the time. And my phone number, my personal phone number, and is available to any of our customers at any time. So I often get text messages and phone calls. So that just kind of shows you how far we take our support and how seriously we take it. Currently, we have over 200 customers on the platform. They range in size and complexity from, large established enterprise clients to breweries to, small premium wine producers. It really runs the gamut. We don't really take preference on what size customer that we work with. There's always a challenge regardless of what size you are, but we can handle anything from the smallest shop to the largest shop. So that concludes my overview. Certainly happy to answer any questions during the Q&A if you want to get into any of those details. I think we're ready now to hand things over to Eden for the demo.
All right, hello there. My name is Eden. I've been with Bloom for about 6 months. Prior to that, I worked with several different Washington wineries as a chef and as a tasting room lead. So I have experience with both Order Port and Wine Direct as a system and the pros and cons of both of those. And I'm really excited to be working with Bloom and on the Shopify platform. So we're going to dive into our demo here. I'm going to be showing you the front end, the website. So it's an example of a look and feel of what a store could look like that we've developed as our demo site. And then we're going to dive into the back end. We'll see the Shopify features. We'll take a look at the Bloom features, and then we're going to wrap things up with a demo of the Shopify POS along with the additional features that Bloom has added to that POS.
While Eden's getting set up there, no current questions have been generated yet. Feel free to throw those in there anytime they come up. We'll keep track of those throughout the presentations and get to those during our Q&A session. So feel free to chime in with those questions anytime. Thanks.
All right. So right here, we're on the home page of the website, and what you're looking at right now is the Bloom age gate. That is an age gate that's totally customizable by you. We have it set up here to request the entire birth date, and the advantage of that being that this information can be passed into the shopping cart. I'm going to go ahead and submit that so we can get on in. All right, so you're looking at the home page here. You've got a really responsive, scrollable design. Your first screen here is a slideshow view. We scroll down to a wine collection where you can enter the store right from here. We've got a map of the winery, some changing content, upcoming events, and then you've got your footer down here at the bottom. In terms of the rest of the page, on the left-hand side, you've got your left-hand menu. So from here, you can access the wine shop, the club membership information, and this is where you would be able to access additional pages that you would create on your website. Over on the right-hand side over here, this is where customers and members would log in to your store where your shopping cart lives. Up at the top here, this is a customizable announcement bar. You can customize the color and the text that shows up here.
And something real quick, I'll jump in here, Eden, if you don't mind.
No.
This is one of many different themes that you could use in Shopify. This particular theme is an off-the-shelf theme that we really didn't do a whole lot of custom development to. If we were to customize this, we could literally do anything we wanted to with it. So I just wanted to point out that what we're seeing here as far as look and feel and features is somewhat specific to this theme, but a lot of the features are going to be available in most other themes that you would get.
All right, so let's go ahead and enter the wine shop. All right, so we're looking at a number of different products here. You can see we've got a list of products. You can see some of these bottles are on sale, and you've got a nice red flag here that draws the customer's attention to that. We've got product bundles that we've designated down here. We're going to go ahead and take a look at this Merlot first, and you'll notice that the price at the bottom says from 38 as opposed to just one price. The reason for that is because there's been multiple variants established for this Merlot. So we're selling it in both a bottle and a Magnum form. And so if you switch it to the Magnum, it changes the price. Easily add it to the cart from here, change the quantity. It's a really beautiful design. Here you've got your tasting notes, and then below here what you're seeing are the Bloom product specifications. There are 30 different product specifications that you can add for your wines, and all of the ones that you have designated will show up here on your product description page. So we've specified the vintage, the blend, the alcohol volume. There's also a downloadable bottle shot. You could have a downloadable tasting note here as well. You can add ratings and pictures of the vineyard, and in this way, the information about your wine does not need to be separate from the shop. Everything is together in one place, and the customers can see it and immediately get into purchasing it and adding it to their cart. Second product example we're going to take a look at is this Cabernet Sauvignon. This is an example of a wine that hasn't been designated as a club-only wine. So it's going to show up in your products just like everything else. So your customers can see all of the offerings that you have available, but when they click on it, they're going to, instead of having the option to add it to the cart, they're going to have the option to go to your club membership page and sign up for the club. You can see with this wine, there are more product specifications designated. So you can have multiple downloads, we've specified food pairings. All right, now let's take a look at the club page. So if you had selected that join the club page, this would have directed you here as well. So for our site, we've created 3 club tiers. The first is the Founders Club, which is an example of what we would call a winery choice club, where the winery is selecting the selections and the customer doesn't have options to swap bottles in and out. But you do have the option, it is configured so that you can choose red wine, white wine, or mixed wines, and it's giving the customer a range of prices for that allocation. The Case Club on the right-hand side is also an example of a winery choice club, where it's just one case on a regular basis. Over here is a customer choice club. This is the type of club where you are giving your customer options to swap wines in and out, but you are in control of what is available to them as options. We've designated some default choices for that order, but then the customer can go in and swap bottles out and make a different selection. In all of these, you also can give the customer the option to add additional bottles onto their selection. All right, now that we've taken a look at the website, I'm going to move over to the admin side so that you can take a look at how this customization can actually happen. So over here, we're in the Shopify admin for our website. We're going to go down here to the online store. And over here, this is how we access the customizer. So this is an alternative to, instead of having your website in a WordPress or Squarespace, everything is under one roof with Shopify and Bloom. So this is your content management location. This is where you manage your clubs. This is where you manage your customers, your orders. Everything is in one place. You don't have to use multiple tools, and the tools are very simple and intuitive to use. It does not require advanced technical skills. All right, so what you're looking at right here in the center is a live view of your changes. So you can work with the website and make changes, and you can see what it's going to look like without having to make it live and go take a look at it. At the top here, you can select any page in your website to customize. We're going to be working with the home page today. You can also, over here on the right, take a look at what it's going to look like on different formats. So you can see what it'll look like on your mobile device, what it'll look like on your desktop, or you can see what it would look like if your user had it full screen view. Over here are your options. So starting off with the age gate, you select the option you want to work with, and then your customization options are over here on the right, and then you see the changes here in the center. So you can turn the age gate on and off. You can require a date on the website, but not required on the mobile, for example. Change your logo, change the header text, the header position, your colors, your fonts, and what the text says. There's a pop-up that you can modify. You can change your sidebar menu, modify your announcement bar. And now down here, we're into the main content of the scrolling part of the page. So this first section is the slideshow, and it is super easy to add and remove blocks from here. You can not delete them at all and just hide them so they're no longer visible, and turn them on at any point. And you can add a block. Select a slide. Select an image. Change the text of that image.
And you can see as she's typing, it's changing in real time. So you don't have to save or preview. It's happening as you type, which is a pretty handy feature if you're doing content management.
And you can change where it is. Move it around the screen. And if you don't save it, it doesn't get uploaded to your website. All right, you can also easily change the order of your content. So you can use these 6 dots over here to change the order within the slideshow. You can also use those 6 dots to change the order within your homepage. So now I've moved these feature collections over the top on top of the slideshow, and I can easily move it right back down. So you can add it. This is where you would add additional content pages. Here is that map. Here are the blog posts. So you can see how easy it is to add content that you don't need a website developer to change your content, and it could be super quick and easy and dynamic. All right, now we're going to do our tour of the features of the Shopify admin. Well, I'm going to leave the page without saving, so none of those changes were saved. We'll start up here on the home dashboard. So this is just a general overview of your store. You can see your top products, your sales by channel, some general sales information. We're going to dive right into the orders view. So these are all of your orders, and that includes your regular store orders as well as your club orders that were run through a club batch. Everything is here together in one location. There's a lot of information you can get on orders without even having to dive into the order. So you can see the notes that have been added to the order. You can see information about that customer, the items that were purchased, tags that were added. So for compliance, these were tags that were added by the Avalara integration here, what the carrier was, as well as 12 additional tags. You can see that it's been paid and has not yet been fulfilled. If we drill into that order, you can see those notes in a larger view. You can see any of the products. You can fulfill the items from here, create a shipping label. Down here, you can see what club discounts were applied, what the subtotal of items was, the tax rates, information about that customer, how many orders they've done with you. And then my personally favorite feature of Shopify is this timeline view. You can see everything that has happened with this order from the very beginning to the very end here in one place. It's all linked so you can easily get to the information you need. You're not having to look around in different places of your system when you're trying to troubleshoot an issue. You and your staff can also add comments to the order that are only visible by you. And so all of that information can just be here in one place. And it's really easy to use and intuitive. So it doesn't, even your newest staff will be able to use this system with ease. So we move on to products. This is our product view. So all of your products in the system are in here. If we go ahead and click on that Cabernet Sauvignon we were looking at earlier, we can see you've got your title, your tasting notes, your bottle image right here. The product status, you can have products that are in draft mode or not currently active, but you don't have to delete them from the system. You can specify where those products are available. Are they only available in your tasting room, or are they available across all of your sales channels? It gives you some information about that product, and then you can add those products to collections. So that's what we were using on the homepage, using the latest release collection in order to display some bottles on that scrollable homepage. This product is part of that latest release collection. Up here at the top, you'll see this More Actions tab on all of your Shopify pages. And that is where you interact with Bloom, as well as other apps that you've downloaded and added to the Shopify site. So from here, we would hit Edit Product Specifications. And that's how we're going to access those additional specifications that Bloom provides. We can see here it has been designated as a club member only wine. Got some ship compliant information, a bunch of general fields about the wine, the alcohol volume, the region. You can add the bottling date. You can get as detailed as you want in here. If you've got winery scores, you could add them in here. You could add a rating. And then we scroll down and we get to the more rich text field options. So you've got a sensory profile, tasting notes, winemaker notes. You can add a vineyard image, notes about that vineyard, food pairing information, production notes, awards and accolades can be added here, and those will all show up on your product description page, as well as any downloadable files that you want your customers to have access to. A really helpful feature that we have added to the Shopify product page is the ability to bulk edit your products. So for example, if it's January 1st and you've decided you're going to increase prices on a few wines, instead of having to go into all of those wines separately, you could select all those wines, hit Edit Products, and it's going to create a nice spreadsheet-like grid view for you to go in and edit the price. You can do it all at once, and it's just going to save you a lot of time, especially if you're trying to edit a lot of products at once. All right, moving on to customers. So it's really easy. You will see the search bar throughout Shopify, and it is really easy to quickly get to the information you need. This is a natural language search. You can type in a city name. If I typed in Seattle, it's going to show me all the customers that have Seattle somewhere in their profile. You could save that filter and have it show up as an extra item right up here on your tabs. These are all, you've got your different tabs that have been filtered, and then here are some saved filters. So different club levels, whether they're email subscribers, whatever works for you and how you're running your business. So if I go into a customer, take a look at Kevin Bowers. So we can see that his last order was 13 days ago. He's done quite a lot of business with us. He's got 13 orders. What his average order value is. We can see his last order. We could click here to see all of his orders. And here you see this more extensive timeline. So we can see when he started as a customer. You can see everything that's happened with him across all of your channels. So this little blue S here indicates that this was a transaction that happened on the point of sale, not on the website. So it's very easy, and you can click the right arrow to get more information about that. And you can, if you click on the link, it'll take you right to the order view. You see the tags that have been added to this customer. So his discounts because he's a club member, what his club level is. And here you have the ability to navigate between the Shopify customer view and the Bloom member view. So you would come up here and you would be able to go back and forth between the Shopify view and the Bloom member view. This is the Shopify reports and analytics section. So starting with, it's got this really nice dashboard screen, which you can filter by any date range. We're using a year date range here. And for any of these reports, you've got your simple overall graphs. If you want to go into more detail, you click View Report. You've got this nice summary graph at the top. And then you've got all of your data. You can filter that data within the existing report. You can change what columns display. You can print the report or export it to a spreadsheet to be able to, if you want to analyze it within Excel or send it to someone else.
This is a good example of where Shopify is putting a lot of innovation into. We didn't have anything to do with any of these awesome reports and visual interfaces that they've provided. And so it's super powerful, and these reports can even be extended through installing other applications to actually get even deeper and richer reporting if that's something that you needed to do.
Down here, we're going to take a look at Shopify Apps. So the Shopify App Store has thousands of apps. There's so many products that you're using now might very well have a Shopify app attached to it. Any email marketing program you're using has got a Shopify app to it. And that enables Shopify to pass the information about that customer directly into MailChimp, and you're not having to do imports and exports back and forth. But there are also apps for events. The Experiences app is an event. You can use that for tastings. There's an app to do more complex bundling. That's just the sky's the limit, and it's great to take a look in the Shopify App Store just to sort of get a sense of what's possible. There are apps for integrating a lot of your accounting systems as well.
In the wine shipping app here, I'll just point out, this is a good example of as Shopify brings on more and more alcohol customers, you're starting to see like wine shipping or alcohol specific companies starting to build applications on top of Shopify as well. We're working pretty closely with wine shipping on how this works within Shopify. And so that's another great opportunity for us to be able to work directly with these companies. Avalara is another good example of that, where we have some say and some insight on how things function and how things integrate with our system. So we're pretty excited about all these people kind of jumping in who are in the alcohol space to really help the platform perform better than what you get out of the box.
Now that we've taken a look at all of the Shopify features, we're going to dive into the Bloom specific features. So we're going to start off on the website and actually go show you the flow for joining a club. We're going to join the Choice Club. So we select that button right there. And we're going to enter in our information. You can see it's pre-populated, my birth date right there. I'm going to choose to be a pickup customer, and I'll choose my pickup location. All right, we enter our credit card number. And submit.
So at this point, we're actually creating a Shopify customer. If you saw, there was a password there. So what Eden has done is created a customer who has an account, who actually has a password in the system. And since we're also asking for your credit card, we are saving that credit card securely in Stripe. So everything is set up for her to be a club member, and we have all the information that we need on that initial join.
Right, but nothing has been charged to their credit card. The customer will not get charged until you actually run the club allocation. We can go in here and customize my shipment. So you can see there's information about the club and then the bottles that are available to choose from for this customer choice club. So the defaults that have been established by the winery are 2 bottles of Chardonnay, 2 bottles of Cab, 1 bottle of Pinot Noir, and 1 bottle of Pinot Gris. But the customer can go in and make some additions or make some alterations. So they could say, perhaps they do not want any Pinot Gris, but they would like 3 bottles of Chardonnay. In addition, they might like some of these additional wines that the winery has set up as options. So perhaps they would like 2 bottles of the Chenin Blanc, giving me an estimated subtotal of what that order will cost. Go ahead and update it to save those changes.
You'll note too that as Eden was clicking on some of those quantity options, that the quantities that were being presented as options were different from one wine to the other. You have the ability to control what those option or quantity selections are. So if you had a limited production of a specific bottle and you only wanted people to take a maximum of 1, you could set that up for each individual wine.
Right, so I have successfully updated my selections for the wine club, and that's the order that will be run when it's time for the wine club to run. I can also change my information on whether I'm picking up or shipping. I can change my credit card from here, can change my address from here. And this particular club is configured so that I can actually hit the cancel membership button, but that is an option. You do not need to have that turned on. You can have that unavailable to the customer, and the customer would have to call you to cancel the wine club. All right, now we're going to go and explore the Bloom features over in the Shopify admin. The first thing we're going to do is take a look at the members view and view the member that I just created. So that's right here at the top. So here I am. This is the member that was just created. It's a members choice club. Here is the shipment. Here's the additional wines. Shows that it's current and new. The credit card has been saved. All of these fields that I'm hovering over that are gray, these are all things that if you click on them, they are editable by you. So the customer can go into the website and change the information, but you can easily change it for them over here. You also have the option to create an order at any time using their saved credit card. So if you have a promotion and a customer calls you and says, can you just process this order from me? This is how you would do that. All right, so we're going to take a look at the wine club configuration. So here are all the wine club tiers that we have established for Bloom Winery. Take a look at the one we've been working with, the Members Choice Club. Shows the discounts available, how many members, what the shipping frequency is. If I want to make any changes, I go ahead and click on this pencil. And this is where we edit the overall fields for that wine club. So the name, information about that wine club, what discounts are available. You do have the ability to set up tiered discounts where you can say for less than so many bottles, it's this discount. For more than a case, it's this discount, and set that up how you would like. You can specify that discounts to not include those discounts on club orders, but they might be included in regular orders. The frequency, what kind of product types are available, shipping options, billing options, and an introductory email that would go to that customer when they join the wine club. All right, if I go back. Over here on the right is how you would customize the options in that shipment. So you're going to click on the pencil here under Fall Shipment. And this is how you are going to be customizing those options that Kevin was just talking about on the sign up screen. So for each wine, you configure this option. So you can require a minimum or maximum bottle quantity. You can require a minimum or maximum price in order for that release to pass. You've got how many shipments per year. And so here you select your product. So for Pinot Gris, it is the default wine. So the default on the order is 1. The customer can choose between 1 and 18 bottles of Pinot Gris in that order. And you go ahead and do that for each product that you're allowing in your release. Everything you want to allow the customer to choose from. You set the defaults if there are any. And then in a second area, you set up the additional wine options. If you want to allow your customers to pick additional wines, that's where you would specify what those wines are here. And just like on the club, you can specify minimum and maximum values as well. So if you've got a really limited wine, you can specify minimums, or if you want people to take at least so many bottles, you can also specify a higher minimum than 1. Now that the shipment has been established, the next step is to build a batch. It's time to run the club. So you're going to click here, this build batch. And a batch is a group of orders. So you're selecting a number of customers and you're running those club orders for all that customer in one large process. It's a background process that runs in the background, and you can, once you queue it off, you don't have to babysit it. You can walk away, move on to another screen, do whatever you need to do. Here we start with the screen to build the batch, and this is where we're going to select the members that are going to be in that batch. We can filter them by billing status, so items that are ready to process. We can filter if you only want to do a batch of your pickup customers. And we can see that the order that the member that I just created here is here in this filtered view. We'll add another customer to that and create a batch. You give it a unique name. Gives you the opportunity to confirm the quantities in inventory. So how many of these bottles were selected in that batch and how many are in your inventory. confirm your shipping rates, and then go ahead and process that batch. Like I said, this is the screen that you can navigate to another part of your Shopify store, and this process will continue to run. As you can imagine, if you're running more than a couple of orders, it may take a few minutes, and so you're free to move on. All right, both of these were successful. So we see that here are the 2 orders. Was successful, order created, payment captured, process date, and you're ready to go. If you click on the member, we can go back. It'll bring us back into the member view. It's added that order right here. And we also see it in the batch history. So for each one of your members, you're going to see every order that they've had through a club batch right here, and you can access it directly from here. You can manage and view your batches here from the batches screen. So this is the batch we just created. You can create a batch and save it to process later. And you can also archive a batch. So in the case of this one, it's 2 successes, 0 failures. I don't need to look at it anymore. So I can go ahead and send it to the archive. I can always get it back if I need to. We go back to members. You can easily navigate back and forth between your members and your customer. Every member that you create in the Bloom memberships is going to have an associated Shopify customer account, and you can easily navigate between the 2. And this batch order that we created is going to show up alongside all of your other Shopify orders as well. So if we click on more actions and view customer details, we notice we're moving from there we go. We notice we're moving up here to back up to customers under the main part of the website. We can see this is a customer, last order 2 minutes ago. Here's all the information, and everything's been added to the timeline. So we see the customer placed an order confirmation for this order, and you can access everything right from here. So here's the order. This order just shows up in the order Shopify view alongside all of your other orders. So everything's together. All right, we'll back down to Bloom. Bloom has added some additional emailing options to your Shopify store. So from here, you can send, these are more manual, taking care of business emails. So if, for example, if you're getting ready to prepare a club order and you want to send an email to all of your club members to let them know that it's time to make their selections and please update their credit card, you would go in here, select, you can specifically select which club members to send that email to, and send that email directly to them. You can resolve failed payments, update expired cards, request billing information right from here. These are the additional reporting options that Bloom is adding on to the Shopify experience. So you've got some information on compliance, the sales tax, and your members. And then under settings, this is where the details for those integrations is. So you've got the option to integrate with mail. We integrate with MailChimp, Klaviyo, and ActiveCampaign to send additional club information to those products so that you're able to segment your campaigns based on your club memberships.
One, how many wineries are currently using Bloom and how many use it for club, and what is the largest size club? I think Patrick mentioned we have in the vicinity of 200 customers using the platform right now. In terms of wineries, I would say it's at least 90% of our customer base are wineries. As far as how many use it for club, we do have a lot of clients who use Bloom just for the ship compliant integration and don't use clubs. I would say we probably have 100 to 150 wineries still using clubs on the platform. And largest size club, I think probably between 3,000 to 4,000 members is where our largest club is currently. So there's the answers to a question from Karen.
All right, so now we are looking at the POS. So this is a tablet-based POS, runs on an iPad or certain Android devices as well. Shopify can send you a retail kit that includes the iPad. It's got a case that magnets onto a stand that will flip back and forth between your staff and your customer. The iPad can come off so you can take it to a table. It's got a really nice credit card reader, and that credit card reader can remove itself from the stand so you can take that directly to the table as well. So here we are on the main screen of the POS. It's really quick and easy to use. What we're looking at on the left-hand side is the smart grid. So we've got 3 screens of smart grid tiles here. This first screen are your product tiles. Second screen are your action tiles. And we've got discount tiles here on the third screen. You can add tiles to the system and customize it and rearrange it however works for you. And then on the right-hand side, we've got the cart. So when you add products, they're going to show up here on the right on the cart. The total is going to change there. Down here on the bottom, you've got your menu, so you can view your orders, customers, products, and this is directly connected to your Shopify system. All right, so on the product tile page, we have tiles added for certain wines and bundles. Your tastings, if we look down here, we've got some collection tiles. So if you clicked on the red wine tile, that's going to pull up every wine that's available on your store that is in the red wine collection. And you can also access products by search. So here's everything that shows up under Merlot. So it's going to show the bundles that the Merlot is in, as well as the individual bottle. Select it, adds it right to the cart. In terms of adding products to the cart, you can you just tap it, it adds it right in. If you tap it again, it increases the quantity. You can also manipulate the quantities by selecting the wine on the right-hand side in the cart, changing the quantity here. You can remove it from the cart. Really fast and intuitive, works just like just many other apps on the iPad, so it's a very familiar interface. All right, so we're going to add a couple more products to our cart. And you can, from here, you can charge the customer and be done, but you do have the option to add a customer, so you have that person in your database. So you can either search if it's an existing customer, add them to the cart, or you can create a new customer right from here. And that is selected, so it's going to add that customer to the cart. And there it is. So the customer's been created, they've got an order. We can go ahead and check them out. If we had, you just insert a card into the Stripe reader. You also have other options. So you can manually enter a credit card. You can take cash. You can take a gift card. All right, go ahead and clear that cart. As we move on over to the action tile section, we have created a couple of action tiles for the Shopify POS. This first one is our Bloom members and benefits tile. This is where you are going to access your members. You'll be able to see orders that are available for pickup and add your members to a cart and manipulate them. And it is also where you can create a new membership right from the POS. So if I select that customer that we just created, I can add a membership. It gives me those options. Choose mixed wines, pick up at the winery.
The thing to note here while Eden's putting this together is you'll see the way that we have this designed is that on the left side is where you do your data entry and selections, but on the right side, we're showing a preview as you go. So as she's going through all these different steps, you're able to see what club she has, what preferences she's picked, what wine she's selected if it was a customer choice club, all the shipping and billing information kind of as she goes here.
All right, so now we have a new member. We turned a customer into a member, added their credit card, and the customer could have entered, you could have handed the PO, you flipped over the POS, let them enter that information for you, flipped it back, and now you've got a new member in the system.
Go ahead and click the use card button. That's the last step you have to do, and then submit. And submit at the bottom.
Submit. All right, we can go ahead and add that newly created club member into the cart, and now we're ready to go and sell them some additional wine to take home until the release is ready. You also can, you can create a club membership from scratch without having an existing customer. So it also gives you the option to create a new customer and then create the club membership, and you do it either way. All right, now I can clear the carts. So from the Bloom members and benefits, we can see all of our customers. We can view our members. We can search for a member. We're going to bring up Kevin Bowers again. So you can see, so I've brought him up. I can see what membership he is a part of. We can see how many orders, and we can also see that he has 7 orders ready to pick up. So if he's come in and we can see that he's got all these orders, we can select the orders. We can mark them as picked up, put them together, and send him on his way. And with a member, add him again. We add him to the cart. And now we can see, once there are products in the cart, now we can see that those discount tiles are active. So it was very easy for your staff to be able to, they find the member, they add them to the cart, and they can easily see what discounts are available to him. They can apply a discount to the order. And everything is just super fast. And play the cart, and that is the POS in a nutshell.
Great. Thanks, Eden. That's a lot of stuff to go through. You probably need a nap right now.
I do have a nap plan for later.
Yes, excellent. All right. Well, yes, we're right at the top of the hour. Why don't we go ahead, Patrick and Eden, if you guys don't have any other closing remarks, we'll go ahead and get into some Q&A.
Yeah, I guess I'll say one quick thing.
Sure.
What Eden showed, obviously we ran through in 45 minutes. And I think you can see just the breadth and depth of what Shopify and Bloom provides. There's obviously a lot of other pieces to this application. So what you saw was an overview. I am hoping that we can answer, there's a lot of questions sitting here, so I'm hoping we can answer as many as we can. But I just wanted to say if anyone has any questions or wants demos, more detailed demos that are specific to your business, that's something that we can definitely set up and do and dive into those specific questions and specific demonstrations of how certain features work.
Great. And to follow up on that, you can contact Eden, Eden at bloom.wine. She can be your first point of contact to start that conversation going. Let's go ahead and jump into some questions here. So first question here from Katie. Do you work with any low alcohol canned wine companies? Yes, we do. Our brand is not necessarily a winery. We ship wine to a co-packer in Tennessee and then manufacture wine spritzers and cans. Yes, we do have a handful of companies on the platform that do canned wine, and they're not a winery. They're a retail outlet on Shopify. They don't have brick and mortar location. They don't sell through a point of sale system. They don't have a tasting room. So yes, we can accommodate that type of arrangement as well. J Bar, can you walk me through timelines for beginning the journey of working with Bloom? How long does it typically take for creation and activation? Lots of different styles of projects that we do, from simple compliance integrations to full design development, Bloom app integration projects. So it really kind of depends on what all the elements of your project would be. I'll say that generally, from getting your project scoped out to getting that project kicked off based on our backlog is usually about 4 weeks of time to get kicked off. And depending on the complexity of your project, it could be a couple of weeks to a couple of months or more, depending on what all the scope of that project could be. So follow up with us directly on that and we can get you some more specifics.
If it's a design project, I'd say typically it's like a 3 to 4 month turnaround, only because the way that we approach design projects is that we really want to make sure that what we're designing and what we're presenting to the customer is on brand and meets all the requirements of the business. So we really dig into what your goals and objectives are. It isn't something that we just throw together. It's not what we do. So we do take the time to make sure we get it right. We know that it's a big investment for our customers, and it isn't something that we try to push through quickly.
All right, next question, also from J Bar. Will you be sharing any examples of plugins and other features? I think we covered that with Eden getting into the description of Shopify apps and all of the options available there. Get back to us if there's more specific information you're looking for. Question from Karen, can you keep notes on each customer and history? Yes, I think Eden did show that in the customer record. You can keep notes in that timeline, and then you can also add customer notes to the customer record as well.
You can also add notes to the specific membership as well. So you have customer notes, but you also have membership notes. And we even have a field, if there's special shipping instructions, there's a field for that as well.
Also from Karen, how do you work with the shipper to send manifests? Lots of different ways that can happen. Depends really on who your shipper is and what your fulfillment connection is with them, whether you're using a direct ship relationship with FedEx or UPS, or you're using a shipping app such as Ship Compliant or Shippo, or if you're shipping through a fulfillment warehouse that can connect through Ship Compliant or another type of arrangements to send that information electronically. lowest common denominator. We also support the 205 shipping report that is also used in a lot of different situations. So bottom line is there's lots of different options and lots of different ways that we can connect with your shippers. Patrick, I don't know if you have any other comments on that.
Just I mentioned the wine shipping integration that we have. That's kind of the ultimate, where our wine shipping integration syncs in real time all of your orders that are compliant. So if you do have compliance set up, we'll send compliant orders into wine shipping. And then we also have an inventory sync as well. So as your inventory is depleted in wine shipping, that syncs automatically back with Shopify.
Also from Karen, where is inventory at a glance? Inventory will show up in your products list. One of the columns in that table is inventory. And then there's also an inventory submenu underneath the products tab in Shopify, where you can see your current on-hand inventory by location as well, if you're using different locations.
Yeah, so Shopify does allow multi-location inventory, so that's important. You can easily switch between locations to see that. And of course, like Kevin said, you can also see all inventory across all locations. If you need sophisticated inventory management, going back to Shopify Apps, there's a lot of different apps that can extend inventory management features. Or if you're using something, like I said, like an integrated application, wine shipping, or an ERP, like we integrate with Vintegrate, if you're familiar with that, that keeps all orders, products in sync in real time as well.
Another question from Karen, is the POS operated from an iPad? Yes. iOS, iPad is supported, as well as some Android tablets also. It can be somewhat model and operating system specific. So it's worth checking with Shopify to make sure that your tablet is on their supported hardware list. Question from Toby, can the Shopify app support subscriptions? Yes. We didn't get a chance to show that. However, in addition to setting up clubs, you can also set up subscription plans for products. These work similar to a sort of the Amazon subscribe and save model. You're making a subscription to a specific product. And then in doing so, the member can change the quantity and select the frequency of which they will receive that product. And essentially those orders then become automatically recurring on that billing cycle based on the credit card that they've entered and created. Basically, they create a membership just like a club member does, but it's a subscription type of membership, not a batched order club type membership.
And to expand on that just a little bit, some of our customers will create subscription packs for multiple products, or you can subscribe to a cart. So if you have 2 bottles of this wine and 4 bottles of that wine, all of those products will be on your subscription. Those products could, even if you wanted to, have different shipping frequencies. So it's fairly complex. We call it the subscription contract. The way that contract is set up on the back end is fairly flexible.
All right, question from QB Winery Solutions. Is there an integration with Ship Compliant? Yes. We are sort of the only supplier to do a direct integration between your Shopify store and your Ship Compliant account through Bloom. So yes, we can set that integration up as well.
And we are platinum certified too. There's only a handful who have that certification. And it goes both ways. We check compliance, we commit orders. Once orders are marked as shipped with tracking information and Ship Compliant, that gets pushed back to the order in Shopify in real time. So it truly is a fully kind of round trip 360 integration.
Another question from Karen, can you use multiple warehouse locations within one order? And the answer is yes. Patrick, maybe a few little more detail on how that works.
Yeah, so what we call that is a fulfillment account. This is a fairly tricky and kind of broad and deep question, because so much of it depends on what warehouse we're talking about, what systems they use. Are we talking about a direct integration with like Fort systems, which we have? Is this going through ship compliant? And then they're the ones who are directing the traffic. So yeah, short answer, yes. Long answer is we really need to dig in to see all the different business rules and conditions that need to be set in order to make sure that those orders are split up correctly.
All right, next question from Toby. In the shopping cart you are showing for a club, does it show the customer their club's discounts as they are adding? I think we sort of showed how that works. I will say that on the online cart, when you add products to the cart, the club discount doesn't show until the actual checkout step. So it's not the wines as they're being collected in the cart are being shown at retail pricing, and then the club discount will be applied at the end.
And that is something just to note, since we are a Shopify Plus agency and have deep experience in customizing themes. We have done that in the past where we can show discounts even on the product page before you even add it to your cart, or when they're in the cart, we could show them with custom development. The tricky thing is in building it out as a feature is that oftentimes discounts are highly complex. You get this discount with 6 bottles, but this discount with 12 bottles. And oh, by the way, if you're a club member, maybe your discounts change. So the logic required to show discounts at the product level accurately is a fairly complex, there's complex calculus we have to figure out there. So we kind of do that as a one-off. If it's something that's really needed and required, we can work with you to see if we can't get that figured out.
All right. Question from Karen. Where do you edit shipping manifests if members say we have the wrong address on their club order, but their club order has been run already? That's a question for you, Patrick.
Yeah, I mean, the journey of an order starts obviously with order creation and then the customer receiving the box on their front porch. So there's a lot of steps that happen in between there. If we're talking about editing an order before it has been shipped, you can just go into the order in Shopify, change the shipping address, which would then update in ship compliant or whatever system that you're working with to make sure that they receive that before the label is printed. After the label is printed, there's not much you can do other than working either directly with your shipper or warehouse to either halt that order or have the label replaced before it gets put on a truck.
All right, next question. Do our lists go on a general Shopify list to be marketed to by other companies? To my knowledge, the answer is no. Shopify does not do that. What privacy options are there to opt out or opt into Shopify general list? Well, there is no Shopify general list. Your list is your list. Of course, your customers can subscribe or unsubscribe from your specific marketing, but the first half of that question, no, these lists are not being sent to a general Shopify account that they're using to market to.
Yeah, your shop is under your domain.
Correct.
And Shopify doesn't do anything with that data for their own business. It is your information, it's your customer's information, and that isn't something that they can share.
Question from Toby: how do discounts show on the POS? I think Eden did cover that. It will show as a line item in the cart, and then of course you can also create those discount actual tiles to apply discounts as well.
We have in our help section online, there's a whole training video on how to apply discounts in the POS. That's something you might want to look into. We go into detail on that one.
Another question for Toby. This is a follow-up to the previous question. As an example, club member industry discount, can we add custom discounts for a customer? The answer is yes. The important thing to know with Shopify is you can only use one discount code at a time. So you can't double up on discounts. Like, this wine is discounted this weekend only. It's also add your member discount and other discounts. It's really a very strict rule from Shopify, only one discount at a time.
But what I didn't show in the demo was you can go in and add a discount by percentage, by dollar amount, or a discount code. And you can, there's a field where you can enter what that discount is. So you could discount an employee by 20% and then type in employee discount, and that'll show up as the line item.
And you can also discount line items as well. There's the discount line item at the order level, but if you wanted to also discount a single product, like a case of cab, you could, if you wanted to go in and just for that cab, set that discount to something specific where the order level discount would apply to everything else.
Okay, next question here from Tracy. Please show us the tip line customers see. Tipping can be enabled on the POS. It works similar to platforms you may already be familiar with. When you get to that point of the checkout, it will show you 3 options for tip selection and a custom option. If the person wants to put in their own tip individually, you can control what percentages show on those tip buttons. So yes, tipping is supported at that step in the checkout process.
And when tips is turned on, the customer experience changes a little bit as well, where what you would do behind the tasting room table, bar, whatever, is you would flip the iPad to the customer and they take over from that point. So you don't see what they're tipping. They get a preview of the order, they add their tip, it asks them to dip their card into the chip reader. And so they kind of take control of the transaction at that point. They select whether or not they want their email or the receipt printed or texted or emailed to them. And then it goes back to the tasting room staff to then finish that order. So that's one of the nice things about having tips, is it puts the customer in control a little bit of that experience. So it's like Kevin said, it works kind of like Square or other systems that you might be familiar with.
All right, next question from Tracy. Are there any issues with food for our tasting experiences running in this system? I'll say no with a caveat. The Shopify POS is very much a retail-focused point-of-sale system. It does not handle hospitality-style features. So it does not do things like kitchen tickets and tabs and that sort of thing. However, if you're simply selling food items that you want to charge for, yes, you can definitely add those to your product list and sell those along with your glasses of wine or bottles of wine or however your arrangement is.
And there is the ability to what's called save a cart. So it's not really a tab, so to speak, but if you do have people tasting wine and you need to move on to another customer, you can charge them, or not charge them, but you can create a cart for them for that tasting, save it and set it aside, work with other customers. When we're done with their tasting and they're ready to purchase wine or check out, you can bring that cart back up in the point of sale and check them out with that. The other thing too is we have some customers who are choosing to use Toast or OpenTable or other platforms to handle reservations and table management. And we are working on some integrations with those systems.
Next question from Tracy. What is the smallest unit of alcohol the system can handle? In other words, can the system deal with liquid units of measure to more easily track glasses and flights of wine in terms of ounces poured instead of bottle units? Patrick, your thoughts on that?
I honestly don't know the answer to this question. I want to say we do have ounces as a unit of measure. And I only say that because I know when we first started using Bloom, we had a few customers who were tracking tastings by the ounce, and I want to say we built that in. It doesn't seem to be that common with other customers, which is probably why I don't know the answer right off my head, but we can definitely look at that and get back to you. Mm-hmm. What most wineries do when it comes to pours or tastings is that they are tracking bottles. So when a bottle is empty, they'll track that bottle that was poured. If at the end of the day, they haven't fully depleted the bottle, they'll cap it and either decide to reuse it the next day if it's fresh enough, or they'll discard it and track it as discarded wine. That's most common, but we can get back to you on a specific answer if we track ounces or not.
All right. Question from Toby. From POS, can you add subscribers to email? Yes.
Yep. On the checkout screen, I don't know if we got there in the demo, but there is a toggle that you can say opt into email, and you can choose to either have that set to opt in by default or to opt off by default. It's up to you.
Question from Sandra here. What is the pricing tier? I'm not exactly sure what the reference is there. And it doesn't look like Sandra is here in the call anymore. I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to answer that. I'm not sure what the reference is. Question from Karen, can notes be imported from an existing system? So I'm assuming we're talking about customer and member notes.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, depending on the system and depending on the type of migration we're doing, but yes, if it's in the customer data record or the member data record, yes, we could get it imported.
Yeah, and in most cases, that hasn't been an issue. Like Kevin's kind of alluding to, it does depend on the system and how the data is stored. Oftentimes, notes is just a single field with a bunch of information in it. That's the easy way to get it in. If it's broken out into like a timeline like Shopify has, that could be a little bit more challenging. But we have data migration specialists on staff they're experienced at ferrying all this stuff out. So I'm sure we could handle that one with no problem.
Okay, Karen, it looks like she had some follow-up questions on that. It was relating to the use of ShipStation fulfillment warehouse in Los Angeles and one in Sonoma County. We use ShipStation frequently. So if you have an existing ShipStation account, then you can connect that account to your Shopify store and continue to use it as your fulfillment method. So I think that we'd be able to handle that.
Yeah.
Question from Martha, inventory apps question. What are some of the best add-ons for inventory? We would love to track inventory that has been allocated to the distribution channel as well, and move inventory from distribution to DTC if needed.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's a wide range of inventory applications. It really depends on exactly what you're trying to do. It sounds like, Martha, you're wanting to just do inventory transfers and keep track of that and maybe report it. Shopify has an app. It was built and designed by Shopify called Stocky, Stocky, which is pretty common to use. It's also fairly basic, but it does allow you to generate purchase orders, receive wine from one location to another, transfer wine from one location to another, and then report on those transfers. From there, it gets more and more advanced. It really depends on what you want to do. There's one called Skubana, which is really popular within the Shopify ecosystem, but also gets fairly expensive pretty quickly because of how robust it is. If you're using like an ERP style system, that's again kind of the next level where there could be custom integrations, or if an integration exists that we have, that would obviously sync your inventory the way that you want to. But I'd probably look at Stocky for right now, see if that works for you. And if not, we're happy to make other recommendations.
All right, question from Helen. Do you have examples of canned wine companies you sell? How does Bloom have an advantage over other vendors who require a retailer to ship? Helen, I'm going to ask that you contact us directly to kind of get into that level of detail. Again, Eden at bloom.wine or Kevin at bloom.wine. Feel free to send us an email and we can maybe dig into that question a little bit more and get to some specifics that can help you out. Let's see. Karen says notes are an existing system in a notes field. Yeah, so I think we're good on that. Jeanette, if a multi-brand club is created, which includes brands already set up under separate carts, can the products be automatically imported to the multi-brand site, or would the products have to be set up manually again?
I'll try to answer that. I mean, we've done a few multi-brand sites. In Shopify, you really have two choices. You can have everything under one shop, and we can custom create interfaces that will make it, give it a look and feel of a multi-brand shop, or you can go into a single brand view if you wanted to look at the wines that way. That's everything under one roof. Another option is to have multiple Shopify stores. So they're different domains. There, your products are in fact separated out. So it would require you to manage them individually, unless we were, unless we integrated with some, middleware, third-party system, whatever that might be, where all the inventory is being pulled from one location, but sent into the individual Shopify stores. So most of it really comes down to what your requirements are in terms of inventory management. And then also, probably more importantly, what the customer experience needs to be. If that needs to be very different between shop to shop, we probably look at using multiple stores.
Okay.
Happy to dig into that one more, though, if you want to contact us, like Kevin said.
Got a couple more minutes here. I'll keep trying to get through these. New question from Tracy. Can you speak to how the system treats member shipments prior to the card getting charged? We drive sizable revenue during a 2-week window, pushing members to add to the order. During this time, we need to know how much inventory has been held or increased due to modifications. We also need to evaluate marketing effort with understanding incremental revenue for modifications. We do have a report that we generate through the Bloom app called the Selections Report. And if you're using, for example, a customer choice type of club, as members go into their accounts and change those selections, you will see that information updated live in that selections report. And so you can see sort of like which wines are popular, how many bottles are being purchased. That's kind of the obvious answer I'm thinking of. Patrick, I don't know if you have another idea.
Yeah, we're working on a new version of this feature in Bloom where you're going to actually be able to preview all of your orders beforehand. That's going to give you a preview of everything, all products, inventory, taxes collected, compliance issues that you might see on orders prior to orders being created. So this is a feature that's coming. I think is definitely going to satisfy what you're looking for. But like Kevin said, today we have the selections report to give you a heads up on what your inventory levels look like at that moment in time when you're looking at them.
So follow-up question, are these draft orders treated like real orders for tagging and reporting? The answer is no. They're not technically draft orders. A draft order is a specific sort of thing to Shopify. So to Patrick's point, it's really just how our system is tabulating and keeping track of selections that have been made. Okay, it's 12:30. I've got 2 questions here in the Q&A. I'm going to go ahead and cover these. Just to be clear, Bloom doesn't have a reservation system that a customer can access. That is correct. There's a Shopify app called Experiences that we use from time to time that is directly integrated with your Shopify store. It's very clean. It is also very simple, but we can do also using widgets for Talk or other systems, but they won't be directly integrated into the platform. So a couple of different ways we can do that, some integrated, some not. Last question, what are the best ways to capture new customers as club members from the time they go to the website through the customer experience with us, as wine club growth is very important? Well, that to me is more of a marketing strategy type of question. Patrick, I don't know if you have any specific tidbits on that specifically.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. It comes down to your marketing strategy and how you want to engage your potential wine club members and how you want to engage them. With our system, what we see most commonly is web club sign up is always open. It's always available. It's on the web anytime someone wants to join. So there's many different strategies that we can take to get people into that flow, whether that's emailing them directly or whether it's presenting offers and advertisements through social media or other means. And then, of course, when they're on the website itself, looking at that, what that customer journey looks like. If they're looking at wines, maybe we do offer incentives where if they join the club, they can save today, those sorts of things.
All right, it's 12:33. We've gone a few minutes over. I just want to say thanks to everyone for hanging in with us and listening and watching. Great questions. Love to hear that. If you think of any more, or if you had something that you didn't feel got specifically addressed, feel free to shoot us an email. Again, Kevin@bloom.wine, Eden@bloom.wine. We are recording this demo. We can make that available to all of the attendees as well. It usually takes a handful of hours before they'll make the link available to me, so I can follow up with you with that as well. Patrick and Eden, any closing thoughts or comments?
No, just thanks for everyone who attended. Looking forward to hopeful chats with you in the future. And we'll be having more webinars throughout the year. So just stay tuned. And we're looking forward to showing some of these new features that we mentioned on this call.
All right. Thanks, everybody. And enjoy the rest of your day. And we'll be in touch. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.